double sinawali, rodonda, rodonda back to double, double into reverse sinawali, reverse sinawali to reverse X, from reverse X back into double, double into double X, redonda, finally redonda X. So what is arnis? What is Filipino combative arts? It is a comprehensive fighting and combative system. So there's a lot of different things that happens there. Method, we use weapons such as sticks, that are double sticks, single sticks, impact, and also we have some longer weapons, and then we have the edged weapons, the knives. The knives, for example, these are trading knives, and our bolo, or long blades. And then we also have empty hands, mano mano, as well as uno and dumog. And then finally, on the ground, of course, our Filipino ground fighting. But we're not going to go through all of those today. I'm just explaining to you what this system is all about. So if you're watching here at Pagdiriwang presentation for June 2020, this is what you will see as we move forward throughout the video. All right, guys, so one of the trademark of Filipino martial arts is the flow, or we call it the flow. Flow just means fluidity, connection of movements, and connections without hesitations. Think of it as a running water on a river. And if there's a big rock or boulder or something, it just kind of continues around it and moves flow through, hence the flow. So unlike a lot of systems where it hits something and they become very rigid and they stay there and then we try to force through it. But in the post with arnis, it's more like I'm going to flow through it. Okay, so example, one of the examples is, let's say a stick, for example, okay? Single stick. So there's only a couple ways for weapons to strike, at least for us. One is the primary is to strike through. Strike through. Okay? And the second one is called the broken strike. Broken strike. The broken strike can be used in two ways. One is, if my attempted fluid strike is stopped, okay, defended or stopped, then I have to move to the next motion. So here, blocked, right? So my intention really was to go through this one. But if he comes in, all of a sudden he blocks it, or he stops that. So now I have to change direction and continue, hence the flow. So I don't stop, go and think about it, and then go, because if I do that, he's got time for him to counter, boom, and then see here. So what I have to do is, as soon as I make that stop, I continue and move immediately here, okay? Hence the flow. Now, the other part of the flow is example, knife fighting, okay? Knife fighting with the edged weapon is really the hallmark of Filipino martial arts. Is knife fighting or edged fighting, okay? So here, okay, so same thing here, when he's striking my arm, he's meaning to cut through, right? To flow through that strike, again, so here. But let's say he comes in and I stop this way, so now all of a sudden his flow stops, this is a broken strike, hence the broken strike. So if he does, here he moves in and continues to flow here. Okay, so again, I go here one, okay, then from here I move and continue my strike right away. That is the flow. Empty hands, when we translate to empty hands, there's a lot of people out there ask, hey, you guys do a lot of stick fighting. You guys do any knife fighting? Absolutely. You guys do any empty hands at all? Do you guys train your hands at all? Oh, I don't know. I think the stick just kind of moves around by itself. Obviously, the hands is always trained. So single sinawali, for example, here. If you guys remember that earlier with a stick, right? Imaginary that stick here. Then all of a sudden, here's your empty hand. This is what you're doing. So here's a translation of one of those translations could be, as soon as he strikes, here's my strike attack here. Okay? The other one could be here, so it goes one flow here, see? So I don't know if you see that. There's one here, right? Flow, and we can go all the way down and finish with strikes and so forth. That's the fluidity and the flow that I'm talking about when it comes to FMA. It's trademark. Hey guys, we're back again at the Hufana Traditional Arnis Systems, home of Bellevue Martial Arts Academy. Here at our academy here, obviously empty because of COVID virus, so we're doing all this Pagdiriwang via Zoom today. And so the next topic is connections, okay? So practicality and effectiveness is also one of the highlights of Filipino martial arts. It has to work. It has to be practical enough for even a woman or a smaller person be able to do these moves. Okay, you don't have to be physically fit. You don't have to be super strong. You don't have to be like gigantic MMA dudes or one of those guys to be able to make this happen or to protect yourself. Most importantly, to preserve yourself, to preserve your life. So connections is one of the key points when practicing and training in FMA. So example, I mentioned earlier about the empty hand translation or connection. So here's our single sinawali again. So that's a little more. There you go. So single sinawali, right? And from here, we go double sinawali. Here, redonda, back to double, then go down to reverse sinawali. Good. Now, there's more. These are just the basic sinawalis. There are technically 6 basic sinawalis in our system, and probably in a lot of the other Filipino martial arts system of Arneses, Krima and Kali, have similar base training methodologies, just like the Sinawali. But for us, I would like to do a lot of translation, for example. So here, one of our practices is here. As soon as he strikes, I defend immediately and strike. That's called the 3. Okay, so isa, dalawa, tatlo, 3. Okay. The other one is 2. Here, isa, right here. So basically, one move, 2 strikes, 2 movements of hands. So here's 1 and 2, or here, depends on how close I get. So the name of the game is who gets there first, who gets to the target first. So if I'm doing here, I'm doing one of these, and he hits me first, boom. Okay, now he takes me off my game for a couple seconds while he continues and finish. So if my defense is not quick, okay, here's the defense right here. This is a traditional defense. Here's enemy strike, okay, that's traditional. So here, or classical. Here's more our modernized version of what you should be doing in real when someone does attack you with that strike. Because here, he comes in, immediately come in and strike. So don't worry about trying to recover and then do this part right here, okay? Remember, he has his left hand. So if I'm too slow, here, his left hand comes in. So my right hand has to come in immediately, right there, before he even strikes, or maybe even attempts to strike. There. Look what I do as well. I move to the side to avoid his actual strike. If I stood there, see, it still comes in. So I have to move to the side. Okay. Okay. Empty hand connections also is this. This also means once I make contact with the hands, once I make contact, this becomes, I switch it off into some kind of a wrist lock or training movement to here and to here. All that has to happen in split seconds. But how do we do that from when you're striking to here and then releasing. I can't release. As soon as I make contact, see here, strike here. See, now I already have contact right here. See? I can go and deliver this wrist, continue back into this. Here, I continue to strike, and so on. Hence the connection. All right, everybody, so far we've talked about the flow, about the system, the fluidity, and the connections, and now into the edged weaponry. Okay, again, I mentioned earlier that the edged weapon is basically like a staple of Filipino martial arts. It is something that everyone knows around the world. Knife fighting, edged weapons, spotting daga. Okay, so it is legendary. It is a warrior culture that's been around for, we're talking probably close to 1,200 years. But only recently, within the last 100 years, probably closer to 50 years, has it been modernized for a more practice scenario good for combatives. Okay, for example, we're just going to demonstrate how we're going to use this here. It's called we're just doing a basic spotty daga. Here. Think of defense and then counter it at the same time. Okay. So if it's low. Good. Wow, okay, good. Even the roof block here. Good. Okay, so those are just the basic defenses. Every time we strike with the big long bolo here, the other one clears and strikes. Reaching back, every time I strike bolo here, comes back out to the daga. Every time I strike here, comes out to it. Okay, so what we don't want to do is like this and come back. That's too slow, okay? Has to be all, once it clears, you go. Once it clears, you go. Once it clears, you go. All right, we're just going to show you some basic countering or block, counter, check. So here, the big mic, here. Super basic there. All he's doing is block and counter. Okay, very super back counter. So we're going to do a kind of give and take smooth. Right, this is called the Saba movement here. Okay. Here, good. Plus here, back here. Good. Good. Okay, good. Looks like he's struggling. Here, cut right. Just here, cut right here, and back to the neck. Outside. Press here. So straight first, come back out. Here. Back. Now empty hands with daga. Okay, daga. So here's. It's called cruzada. Good. Okay. Cruzada. It's called the cruzada, but with reverse grip, the strikes here. On the side, so cut here first. Cruzada movement here. Right. Okay. On this side, any kind of strikes. See? Here, even if he strikes with that, see? Strikes with the other one. Okay. Good. Now, finally, how do you translate again empty hands. So the knife. All right, so it's coming in, it's moving out. It's right here at the same time, right? Here, 1, 2, 3. Notice my right foot. Oh. Good. Here's my single Sinawali. There's that. Take down all the way and drop. Good. Now I'm going to come back to here. The same thing, like just like this is going to be difficult, okay? So I have to be quick in this one. I have to remove just enough here. Try to take the knife and fall. Okay. All right, guys. I hope you guys enjoyed yourself watching Arnis, Filipino martial arts of Eskrima, Kali, and Arnis. Presented to you by yours truly, Punong Guru Norlino Kufana, and my son Michael Kufana. We are with HTA, Arnis Systems here in Bellevue, under the banner of Bellevue Martial Arts Academy. To find out more about our school and our academy and our program, you are more than welcome to go to our website at kufanamartialarts.com. Also, I wanted to let you know that we do have an award-winning documentary film called Voices of the Masters, which is available for sale for your order on the same website at kufanamartialarts.com/VOTM. And also, right now in Amazon, or if you have Amazon Prime, the same film, they changed the titling to Martial Arts Secrets of the Asian Masters. It's actually there on Prime Video. So if you have Prime, you can watch it for free. You have also options to download it and purchase it and so on. So again, thanks for having us, and hopefully you enjoyed Pagdiriwang. And next year we'll be live. Hoping we'll be live next year and see you at the Seattle Center. Until then, maraming salamat po. Ingat at mabuhay.